Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so when you picture Hong Kong, I bet it's, the usual suspects, gleaming skyscrapers, finance hubs, maybe Victoria Peak.
Yeah.
But today, we're going to peel that back. We're heading somewhere different, to Hung Hom and to Kwun Yum, districts maybe known more for, well, their industrial past.
Definitely not the tourist hotspots, usually.
Exactly. And for you, the listener, our mission today is to dig beneath that industrial surface. We want to find the stories, the sort of cultural anchors that give you a really authentic, layered understanding of the city.
Stories that connect things in ways you might not expect.
Totally. We're hunting for those hidden historical gems.
And the history here, it starts, well, way earlier than most people think.
Yeah.
The usual Hong Kong story kicks off around 1841, the colonial era.
Right.
But these districts, to Kwun Yum specifically, we're talking roots that go back over 1,000 years before that.
1,000 years, seriously.
Yeah.
Like Tang Dynasty times.
You got it. I
Yeah.
mean, think about this. When they were digging for the new Shatton Central Link Railway recently,
Yeah.
archaeologists found evidence. 6 ancient wells. It points to, organized settlements about 1,300 years ago. Farming salt pans. Right there in the southeast Kowloon Peninsula.
Wow. So this isn't just an old part of town. It's like foundational.
It really is a cultural anchor for the whole region, sitting right under, buildings from the 70s.
That time depth is just staggering. Okay, so let's start unpacking the physical side of this area, because one story involves something pretty dramatic,
Yeah.
an island that basically vanished.
Ah, yes, the story of Hoi Sham Island, or Fishtail Island, as locals called it.
Fishtail Island, cute name.
It was this quirky little island right off the coast of To Kwa Wan. You had to take a boat to get there. People went for seafood, maybe visit the little Hoi Sham Temple on the island.
Sounds idyllic. But this is Hong Kong, so I'm guessing land reclamation is involved.
You guessed it, land is everything. Between, 1962 and 1970, there were these huge reclamation projects.
Right.
And Hoi Sham Island, it just got absorbed, swallowed by landfill. It stopped being an island.
And became...
Hoi Sham Park. The park sits right where the island used to be. It's such a stark example of that classic Hong Kong trade-off. Nature gets paved over for urban expansion.
Okay, so the land itself disappeared into the park.
Right.
But what about the temple, the spiritual side of things? You can't just landfill a temple, can you? How did people deal with that displacement?
That's where you really see the community spirit, I think. The sources are clear. The deities from the Hoi Sham Temple weren't just, left behind.
No.
No, there was a proper formal process. They were carefully moved, rehomed, you could say, to the Tin Hau Temple nearby on Lukshan Road.
Ah, okay, so the faith itself found a new anchor.
Exactly. It ensured that spiritual continuity even when the physical place was drastically changed.
I love that. It's like tracing the journey of the spirit, not just the map. Are there any bits of the original island left in the park? Like physical reminders?
There are, actually. Within Hoi Sham Park today, you can still find 2 rocks. The Hoi Sham Rock and the Fishtail Rock. They're the last physical remnants. And they've picked up this rather sweet legend along the way. People say if couples visit the rocks together, they'll have good luck in their marriage.
That's lovely. So for anyone visiting, you've got a ready-made little journey.
Definitely.
You can find the rocks in Hoi Sham Park, maybe soak up some of that good fortune, and then follow that spiritual trail, walk inland to the Tin Hau Temple on Lukshan Road, where the deities ended up.
It perfectly connects the physical memory with that living spiritual continuity. A really meaningful path.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. From a vanished island to, well, an industrial site that's definitely still standing, but utterly transformed.
Ah, you must mean the cattle depot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How does a place literally built for slaughter become a hub for art? It's quite a leap.
It really is. We're talking about the Cattle Depot Arts Village. It's actually a statutory monument now, but for nearly a century, from 1908 right up until 1999.
A long time.
It was the Ma Tau Kok Animal Quarantine Station, basically the city's main slaughterhouse, a place with a very, very heavy history. Labor, death, it's all embedded there.
And the buildings themselves are so distinct. Those red brick structures, single-story, pitched roofs. It covers a huge area, 1.7 hectares. It almost looks kind of, British industrial.
It does have that feel. And the contrast is just unavoidable, isn't it? A place designed for ending life, now dedicated to creation.
So how did that switch happen? Why there?
Well, since about 2001, artists started moving in. And the sources suggest it was partly a conscious choice because it was on the margins.
Away from the shiny commercial center.
Precisely. Away from Central, away from the galleries demanding high rent. It was almost an act of, artistic resistance. choosing this gritty, historically complex space.
So the location itself is part of the art, in a way, using these old industrial bones as a statement.
I think so. It's a powerful example of adaptive reuse. It says something about finding value in heritage, even difficult heritage, and pushing back against just tearing everything down for something new and commercial.
It proves art isn't disconnected from the ground, from the real history.
Exactly. So for you, exploring the area, it's a must-see. Maybe join one of the docent tours they sometimes run.
Pretty.
You get the history, the weight of the original function, and then you see the art being made within those same walls. It's also fantastic for photography, that industrial heritage look, and you get to connect with local artists.
Makes total sense. Okay, so we've seen physical geography change, industrial use change, but these districts also show how sometimes older beliefs, like folklore, directly pushed back against modern plans, right?
Oh, absolutely. Let's talk about the Hung Hom Kwun Yum Temple. Built back in 1873, it's got this incredible story from 1909 known as the Red Warning.
The Red Warning sounds dramatic.
It was. The colonial government was trying to build a big new road, infrastructure connecting Hung Hom to Kowloon City and Simshat Sui, standard procedure. But when the workers started digging into the hillside near the temple, red water suddenly spurted out.
Red water. Okay, that would be alarming.
Instantly panic. The workers were convinced they'd hit something sacred, injured the dragon's vein, the spiritual energy line in the earth, angered the spirits.
Wow. So as Western engineering meets Chinese geomancy head on.
Exactly. Now, science did step in. Geologists figured out it was likely just mercury and sulfur deposits in the soil, natural minerals causing the red color.
But that didn't calm things down.
Not really. The explanation didn't matter as much as the feeling. The fear was real. The workers basically downed tools.
They refused to work.
Yep, until they pooled their own money, collected donations, and paid to rebuild and reinforce the Kwun Yum Temple. They needed that spiritual assurance, that protection from the goddess Kwun Yum.
So faith became like a collective psychological safety net against the disruption of modernization.
Perfectly put. It was the community choosing ritual and belief as a way to cope with the anxiety of rapid change digging up their world, literally.
That story tells you so much.
Yeah.
And that temple, doesn't it also hold some heavier, more recent memories from the war?
It does, sadly. During the Japanese occupation, a nearby school was bombed, killing teachers and students. Their remains were initially gathered and interred near the Kwun Yum Temple.
Oh, wow.
They were later moved to the Phuktok Temple on Pokman Street, but for a time, the Kwun Yum Temple grounds served as the space of communal grief and memory for that wartime trauma. So it's protection, but also remembrance.
Such layers of meaning in one place. Okay, let's shift from that kind of heavy memory to something a bit lighter, maybe even poetic.
Ah, the 13 Streets.
Yes, into Kwun.
Yeah.
Tell us about this naming convention, because it's just delightful.
It really is quite unique for Hong Kong. It's this specific block, basically 11 parallel streets tucked between Mok Cheong Street and Ma Tau Kok Road.
Yeah, and the names.
They're almost all named after auspicious, mythical Chinese creatures.
Like Dragon Street, Phoenix Street.
Unicorn Street, Eagle Street, Horse Street.
Yeah.
You get the idea. It's not generals or governors. It's pure mythology built into the street grid.
That shows such cultural confidence, doesn't it? To just bake that folklore right into the urban planning.
It's a wonderful touch. And what's great is that this area hasn't seen the same massive redevelopment as other parts of Hong Kong. A lot of it still feels very 1960s, 1970s.
So it has that time capsule feel.
Definitely. It creates this atmosphere of maybe slow living, a real contrast to the usual pace.
Okay, this sounds like a perfect activity for you, the visitor. Like a street name treasure hunt.
Absolutely. Go find those mythical beast names on the street signs.
And then you have to reward yourself, obviously.
Of course. You pair the street hunt with some food. Dive into those classic old-school neighborhood eateries.
Like where?
Oh, places like Tung Mun Cafe, or maybe Hey Hey Snacks for some local bites, or Yumin Pham for noodles. Real, authentic Old Town flavors. It connects the cultural poetry of the names with the actual taste of the community.
Love it. So bringing all these threads together, the vanished island, the slaughterhouse turned art space, the Dragon's Vein incident, the mythical streets.
Yeah.
What's the bigger picture here?
Yeah.
What does it tell us about Hung Hom and Kwun? It feels like more than just old neighborhoods.
I think the term time buffer zone captures it quite well. These areas somehow managed to avoid the really intense waves of gentrification and redevelopment that kind of sanitized other parts of the city.
So they kept their texture.
Exactly. They preserved a community feel, a certain grit. And if you look at the whole arc from those ancient salt pans we mentioned at the start, through the big 1950s, 60s industrial boom with factories making, MSG and firecrackers, right up to the cattle depot artists today, it shows incredible resilience, an ability to adapt and hold onto identity through massive change.
Which really forces you, as a visitor standing there, to think about the cost of development, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. What's the cultural price we pay for shiny new towers? When you're next to these physical remnants, the rocks, the red bricks, the old street signs, you have to think about conserving the invisible stuff, too.
The folklore, the memories, the community practices.
Exactly. That's the real value here. It's not just the buildings, it's the commitment to cultural survival, that deep authenticity.
Right. So that brings us towards our final thoughts. We've dug into some deep history, seen industry repurposed for art, and watched folklore wrestle with engineering.
And think about the layering, literally, right underneath these old streets, these places where time feels slower.
Yeah.
You have the Tai Tok Tunnel buzzing with traffic.
Yeah.
Used to be the airport tunnel, right? It represents pure speed, efficiency, modern Hong Kong flowing underneath.
That's a great image. Speed below, slow time above.
It's that constant tension. And maybe the newest layer is something like the Hung Hom Urban Park modern green, built on former industrial land, with things like balanced bike tracks. It's the latest iteration of that transformation.
Industry to green space. The cycle continues.
Always adapting.
So the final takeaway for you, the listener, when you visit Hong Kong, maybe step off the usual path. Go explore these districts. Don't just see them as old relics. See them as active places where the city's constantly figuring itself out.
That negotiation between past and future, speed and preservation.
That's where you find the real Hong Kong. Go be part of that discovery.